Little Red Riding Hood. Once upon a time, in a small village near a dark and quiet forest, there lived a kind little girl. She always wore a bright red hood that her grandmother had made for her. Because of this, everyone called her Little Red Riding Hood. Little Red Riding Hood loved her grandmother very much. Her grandmother lived alone in a small house deep in the forest. One sunny morning, Little Red Riding Hood's mother prepared a basket with bread, honey, and fresh fruit. She said gently, "Please take this basket to your grandmother. She is not feeling well. But remember, stay on the path. Do not talk to strangers and go straight to her house." "Yes, mother," said Little Red Riding Hood. She took the basket and happily walked into the forest. The forest was beautiful. Birds were singing, flowers were blooming, and butterflies were flying around her. Little Red Riding Hood stopped to look at the flowers and smiled. Suddenly she met a big grey wolf. He looked friendly, but his eyes were clever and sneaky. "Good morning, little girl," said the wolf softly. "Where are you going all alone?" Little Red Riding Hood forgot her mother's warning. She answered politely, "I am going to my grandmother's house. She lives deep in the forest." "And what do you have in your basket?" asked the wolf. "Food for my grandmother," said the girl. The wolf smiled to himself. "Why don't you pick some flowers for your grandmother?" he said. "She would love them." Little Red Riding Hood thought this was a wonderful idea. She stepped off the path to pick flowers. But the wolf ran quickly through the forest to the grandmother's house. He knocked on the door. "Who is it?" asked the grandmother. "It is me, your granddaughter," said the wolf, using a soft voice. The grandmother opened the door, and the wolf rushed inside. He scared the grandmother and hid her safely in a closet. Then he put on her clothes and climbed into her bed. After some time, Little Red Riding Hood arrived at the house. She knocked on the door and went inside. "Grandmother," she said, "why do you look so strange today?" "What big eyes you have!" "All the better to see you with," said the wolf. "What big ears you have!" "All the better to hear you with." "What big hands you have!" "All the better to hug you with." "What big teeth you have!" "All the better to eat you with," shouted the wolf. The wolf jumped out of the bed, and Little Red Riding Hood screamed. At that moment, a brave hunter was walking past the house. He heard the scream and ran inside. The hunter scared the wolf away and rescued the grandmother from the closet. Little Red Riding Hood hugged her grandmother tightly. "I am so sorry," said Little Red Riding Hood. "I should have listened to my mother." Her grandmother smiled and said, "Now you have learned an important lesson." They shared the food together and felt safe and happy again. From that day on, Little Red Riding Hood always followed the rules and never talked to strangers. 3 important lessons for kids. 1. Always listen to your parents. Parents give rules to keep you safe, even if the world looks friendly. 2. Never talk to strangers. Not everyone who looks kind is kind inside. 3. Stay on the right path. Doing the right thing keeps you safe and happy.